How y'all doing? Camera's probably at an angle because it's being supported by something in my car that's not quite right. I do need a new one. I am driving back from northern Idaho. I went through Montana and then up to Sandpoint, Coeur d'Alene, stayed in Donnelly outside of McCall last night. Took about, 10 days, 2 weeks. And I'm on the 84 now, just on my way to Mountain Home. Well, I'll pull over for gas and on my way to Twin Falls, maybe with a quick stop in Jackpot for the night. It's on the Nevada border. It's where I go gamble. Just thought I'd check in, kind of to remind everybody, those that care to or that are living life and looking to see what's going on in this world, of how everything is on fire. I've said it before. And this isn't specifically politics. It's just, if you sit down and you are aware of what's going on around the world, at least a little bit, you understand that things are not as they used to be. It is. It almost seems crazy. The word I can't spit out. Like biblical times almost with what's going on. We've got all sorts of weird weather. We've got all sorts of news coming out that's been hidden. Things are going to come out even more. We've got leaders that nobody believes in anymore. Nobody believes in the media anymore. We've got all sorts of things going on. And there is a faction, or a group, I should say, of people here in the United States that the line and the division is getting wider and wider and wider. But they are really, you see it on the media, but they are just a fraction of what the majority. The majority of us are pretty reasonable, common sense, critically thinking sort of people that have been kind of observing everything for a long ways. Those people are starting to become active in their communities. They are starting to give voice now. And once that happens, you're going to be really seeing also what's going on. So there's just tremendous amount of things going on. I can tell you this, and I say this with certainty, even to my friends that think I'm completely on my rocker, things will never be like they were before, ever. I mean, I'm talking everything in every level of our life, from religion to the way we work, to money, to everything. It's going to change, and it is changing right now as we see. We're going to be okay, but it's how you're going to be able to adapt to this, and it's things that this is the running theme that I've talked about for years. How do you weather the storms? Do you sit around and stress and gnash your teeth and wring your hands about everything that happens to you in life? From, something your mother-in-law said, or your kids are doing, your teachers, or your job? Or do you ground yourself and create that anchor in the storm so you can approach things more calmly? And this just applies to regular life, and I've said it over and over. We need to ground ourselves. Grounding ourselves comes in many ways. And I've talked about these subjects before. It comes from many, many different things, but we start with the basics that you've heard your whole life. Eating right, that's basically nutrition, which I've taught for about 15 years. Avoid sugars, avoid processed foods. Sleep is the cornerstone of everything, so make sure and your body loves routine, so go to sleep every night at a certain hour, wake up the same time. We're always going to have those nights or days that don't work out, but consistency is key. Drink lots of water. I could talk to you for an afternoon about the benefits of water. Like I said, stay away from the garbage, which is mostly the standard American diet. Number one, exercise. These are things we've all heard, pull yourself away. Walking is one of the best exercises ever. You get out in the sun, natural vitamin D, even if it's just around your block. Get your feet in the grass now that spring's coming in summer. Get your feet grounded in the dirt. Activities like hobbies, fishing, things that take our mind off our lives, meaning we're not want to bury our heads, but science shows that there's about 60,000 thoughts that go through these noggins daily. That's a lot of activity. How do we slow that down? Well, in many ways. It's finding a hobby where we're detached from our minds going like this. Could be fishing, could be cooking, could be sewing, could be listening to music, all those things that kind of slow our mind down. Now, the fastest way to get there is meditation, which has been around since we've been on this earth. The benefits of meditation are astounding. But things that put us into a meditative state, that just take our minds off the frenetic activity that's going on daily that life throws at us. That starts to help with us becoming grounded, meaning that, so when life starts throwing out stuff at us, good or bad, or mostly bad for us, we're not panicking and flying off the handle and worrying, which science has proven, worrying, anger, panicking, all these sort of low vibration emotions cause disease. So basically, worry, all these sort of things, you're accelerating. If you're already out of shape and not very healthy, you're already accelerating possible disease in your body, cancers, things like this. This is proven science. This isn't my metaphysical stuff. So how do we get out of that? One little bit step at a time. We start concentrating on the now, meaning a lot of us here in the West especially, we spend our days and our lives always looking in the future. We're always looking ahead. We're creating scenarios. We're worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. And we do this constantly. Or we're living in the past. And we're regretting things. And we're going over and over of things from our exes said. And all this sort of things. Or things that he, she, or it said to us. And we're missing the now. Now, it's good to go through the past and learn from it, but not to dwell on it. The future, we can change that. We have the power to change our futures. So, get rid of all that and start living in the now, like right here, right now. The peace and bliss starts to come. And this is through everything that I just talked about. Now, what I just said takes a lot of work, but it's a little bit every step at a time. I always talk about my journey. You know, I'm in a place now where I am at peace. I meditate daily, twice a day. I do yoga. I do running, sprints. I do all sorts of stuff. Play music. I practice what I preach. So I am in a spot where no matter what life throws at me, I'm always happy because I choose to be there. It's a conscious choice. I'm human like everybody. I get angry sometimes, but it doesn't last very long. I always look where my lesson is, where something happens to me. What's the lesson I need to learn in this situation that keeps coming up? All right? And I'm not wanting for anything, meaning, again, you know, well, my generation at least, I'm sure a lot of other generations, were sort of raised, you know, that the next job, the next career, the next house, the next relationship, the next marriage, then we'll be happy. That's a false narrative, and I chased that for a lot of time in my old life, but you'll be chasing your tail. It's the squirrel cage going back and forth. It's a false promise. We may get to that point, we get that new house or that new relationship, but that happiness only lasts briefly because we're back to ourselves again that we haven't resolved. Happiness comes from inside here. And this, again, goes back to eating right, meditation, everything I previously talked about. So, there are things that I want in life, but I strive to get them at some point. But if they don't happen, I'm not devastated. So basically, I'm not wanting for anything. Meaning, also, nothing out there externally will complete me. Yeah, I'd like a relationship someday. It'd be great. It's kind of hard in my travel mode. But these are things that, if it happens, it happens. But it doesn't complete me. I'm already complete. I'm happier than I've ever been. And we can all be here. But it takes work. It takes being in the now. It takes meditation. It takes exercise. It takes eating right. Treating our temples, our bodies correctly. We need to keep our wells full because if we deplete our wells, then we are no good to anybody, including ourselves or anybody outside ourselves. So I do a lot of service work, and I help a lot of people, and I'm giving out a lot of myself. But I also take a lot of time to ground myself and spend a lot of time alone. So it's all about balance again, too. This is all balance. So these are all things that are important to think about, especially now, because we're going into more and more chaos ahead of us. There's many things that we believed in life, or many things that we took for granted that are going to start turning inside out. And it's good to have our faith, have ourselves grounded during these times to weather the storm. It's very important. I'll be talking about more of this down the road, but there's a reason I've been saying this over and over, because we're in these times now and they're going to get a little more frantic. We'll all be okay for the most part, but I'd just leave you with that. So I'm about to mountain home here. I was just in McCall and it snowed yesterday. I am tired of the winter. I'm ready for the summer and I'm going down south as soon as I can. So I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.